So the poem that I'll recite to you is titled A Look into My Brother's Poetry, or A Guerrilla Search for My Grandfather's Heart. And it's a collage and a bit more different poems in the form of text messages that I've gotten from him. And yeah, we'll go. Have a shot of Jameson on the house. Flush your lungs with fire and think about what it will feel like when your bones start to sound like cold windshield wipers. And then piece that together into a poem. Don't leave it plain. Pepper it, salt it, but do not assault us with too much style. Have another shot of Jameson on the house, dear brother. Flush your lungs with fire and think about what you'd like to remember when your bones start to sound like old windshield wipers, and then gather that together into a poem. Gather your lines in between your margins, but do not let the margins border in your imagination. Have another shot of Jameson on the house and think about what you're going to leave thrashing in that whiskey glass when you leave with that woman who has hair like midnight. You've come to realize that brown foam is probably thicker than blood because you love your liquor more than you love yourself. And more than that, you love women more than you love yourself. So take a step away from the shot glass and write about that. You say you disrobed a poem today, and in her nakedness, she was unpunctuated beauty. Reading her was like reading God. You couldn't stop your eyelashes from stammering as they stumbled across the curves of her skin. In her nakedness, she read like jet black hair, tumbling past her neck, pulled to one side of her face. She read like that terse space in between what you could say and what you knew you shouldn't ever say. So you clasped her palms with your palms and threaded your fingers through her sentences, struggling to read in between the lines for more meaning that she was willing to give. Now step back forward to your shot glass. Have another shot of Jameson on the house, dear brother. Flush your lungs with fire. By now, your bones are soaking in whiskey, and you can remember what it feels like to be possessed by a love for liquor, possessed by a desire for something that will take you higher than wherever you already are. And so you'll step away from the shot glass yet again and write about this. Demons rib-caged inside me, smoldering in shisha smoke. You've been living too close to the earth. They whisper towards me, their hearts doused in whiskey, kissing inside my skin, their lips worshipping the same love that heroin does as they reel against my body's borders. My eyelids blanket my eyes. Sleep, children, they whisper again. My arms rise and crucify in clean air. You don't fall if you jump, they whisper. Step back towards your shot glass. Have one more shot on the house, dear brother. At least that way you have half a shot of deluding yourself into thinking that you have a shot at contributing to the voice of your generation. Your naivety died with your childhood, but you still remember what it felt like to be a child. So step away from the shot glass and write about what that felt like. Once when I was 12 and out on Lake Victoria, I looked over the side of the fishing boat beyond the stillness of myself and into schools of silver slivers. Then I leaned in and dipped the tip of my nose, wondering what the difference between a breath of air and a breath of water was. Now step back towards the shot glass. You'll remember the one person that was the most integral part of your childhood, and you'll write about her. The soul is shaped like a bowl to hold life. I don't remember when my mother first took my soul in her hands and tipped her bowl over my bowl. I don't remember what that first trickle of life felt like, but she told me it sounded like baby talk, half Kiswahili, half God, and it was unpunctuated. As time passed by, she continued to pour more of her life into my bowl. And I kept looking up at her, wondering why she was doing what she was doing. The response to this question that I never asked was always crystal clear. It's because I am your mother. And this response was scratched onto the side of my bowl every single time. She didn't spare the rod, but she was careful not to spill, and her hands kept my bowl warm. So even though I worry that one day her bowl is going to run dry, I'm kept warm by the reminder that my own bowl is full of her. Now step back towards your shot glass. Take one last shot as the sunlight streams in through the bar window, bathing